I'm not gonna run. I'm just gonna stay here and smoke. Oh, damn. Oh, we wouldn't have no sound on? That's perfect. Cause you know a nigga not on time, but I see you. Wait, do I see you? I see you. When I, something now is taking. Oh,
Michelle.
Huh?
Why you sound like Michelle?
Oh, that's my bad. Damn, I should have been. My bad. You know I got a good Michelle.
I know.
What's the KDU song? What's the words? Yes, and the doubts has to be there for you. Let me give it to you. You're beautiful. I love the way you are. Go ahead and start the show, sweetheart. Go ahead. We already running late. Go ahead and start the damn show. Good morning, and good morning. Welcome back to another episode of Wake It Bake with B. Mo. Shut up. I'm going to work on that note. Thank y'all for joining us. This is your chance to get updated on all things black, to write the new blueprint of all things going on black, through black, to black, from black, around black. I am black. And unashamed. Before we say anything, before we move on with the show, we want to say good morning to the blue and white of my life. Good morning to the changing state of my HBCU system. Okay, that's the first HBCU. Good morning to the lady of the house. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's poppin'?
You know, I don't know. It's sunny today.
It's a sunny day.
Yeah.
Today is a sunny day. Beautiful outside. Studio's looking wonderful. I'm excited. Tim is on the line. What's up, Tim?
Hey.
What's up, Tim? What's up, Coco? Good morning. Good morning, Drew. How we doing this morning? I did make it. Speaking of which, we will talk about that this morning. But before we go there, we want to give a huge shout out to the Washington and Former Bridge, WI Bridge DC, or WIBridgeDC.com, or at WI Bridge DC on all social media websites. Make sure you go there to get updated on what's going on with blackness through a very traditional journalistic view. I love me some journalism. Love me some journalism. Make sure you go check out WIBridgeDC.com or at WIBridgeDC on all social media sites. We also want to give a huge shout out to my man Chiquete. Chiquete's got a new project out right now. Go for a drive, something that you can listen to 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, when I lived in Myrtle Beach during the summer times, and I would be having my summer loves, and they would, eventually break my heart. You know what I would do? I would, like Jagged Edge said in that one song, I'd be driving down a lonely highway with my window down and crying. That's what I do. And that's exactly what 4A Drive is for. So definitely go check it out. Let's go ahead and play it for y'all. I'm driving down a lonely highway. Sorry.
Wasting my time, easing my mind.
Shout out to my man Chiquete. Make sure you go check it out on social media platforms. My man Chiquete, Cheakaity. Definitely go check that out. For a drive on all your streaming platforms. That's definitely a jam. And please don't judge me for my body rolls, okay? My body rolls and my Sierra. Okay, I know it was good. Don't be aroused. We got some great things we want to talk about this morning. Now that last shout out, we want to make sure you go sign up for the new Blueprint newsletter. We actually had something drop yesterday. Definitely go check that out. BMOBrown.substack.com. It is $5 a month, but if you need that sponsorship, go ahead and let a nigga know. We can go ahead and let you in. Imlet said, hey, what's the link for that song? I'm surprised I can read that from this far. Go to Chiquete's social media space. Cheakaity. Chiquete, my man, is a brilliant producer, songwriter, artist, musician. Definitely go check out that situation and we can get it popping. Okay, sweetheart, we have some great things that I want to talk about this morning. It is Thursday, so we're gonna have our we're gonna have our Paul Robeson Negro of the Week in the second half of the show. The first half of the show, we're going to talk about my new enemy, my new nemesis. And while he has a black face, what he is actually exhibiting is a tool of whiteness that I think we have to definitely break down and talk about. Of course, we're going to talk about my night with the white man. But before we even get to that, it is Thursday. We're going to continue doing our newest segment. We're going to do our Black in the Day news. Today's Black in the Day news, we have an article from Ebony, 1991. The Lady House is going to read us an excerpt. What we got, Lady House?
Okay. So Natalie Cole is on the cover. And the article we're going to read an excerpt from is How to Survive the New Racism.
How to Survive the New Racism. I'm ready.
Okay. Current efforts to beat back black progress call for a renewed commitment to excellence and organization. Cloaked in the transparent guise of individualism and disingenuously expressed as the desire to achieve a quote-unquote colorblind society, American racism is again rearing its ugly head and gnawing at the foundation of the many victories secured in the civil rights era. What a sentence.
That was a good sentence.
Yeah. Today, due partly to a faltering economy and the race-baiting tactics of leaders in the new right wing, droves of white Americans are not only distancing themselves from the legislation and programs affected to redress centuries of discrimination, they are adopting a reactionary posture that can only be described as anti-black.
This is 1991?
1991.
Okay.
What we are seeing today is an absolute retreat from the politics and policies of fairness that emerged from the civil rights movement, says Julius L. Chambers, Director Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. We have returned to an atmosphere in which racism is not only tolerated, it's encouraged. Should I keep going? Or?
You give me one more.
Okay. The quote-unquote new racism is the term some observers use to describe the recent attacks, some subtle, some not so subtle, on black progress. It is evident on predominantly white college campuses where black students and faculty face mounting hostilities. It is evident in corporate suites where black executives are butting their heads against glass ceilings that prohibit their advancement. It is evident in national polls that indicate white Americans, despite the overwhelming evidence of their individual prejudices, continue to labor under the mistaken belief that discrimination has been completely eradicated.
Jesus.
And is most evident in the nation's neighborhoods where resistance to integration still runs deep. Yeah, that's deep. That's crazy.
Damn, that sound like today.
Right.
Let me see that. This is from, just in case you thought we just made this shit up, this is from 1991's Ebony. Definitely go, well, you can't go check it out, but Black Market Vintage has a whole bunch of black ephemera that you can get into, which is how we have started to invest in some of these old articles from the article of How to Survive the New Racism. Wow.
Yeah.
Some of these tactics sound exactly the same for what's happening right now. And Maurice, I'm glad you're on because today we're actually going to have a conversation about propaganda, and I definitely want to get your perspective on it. But this sounds exactly like it could be today, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's why we kind of do Black in the Day news to see how much we have actually changed, how much we've actually moved on. But it doesn't seem like much because the new racism that they're describing, which I guess would be called the old racism, which is actually still the new racism, this is 1991.
Yeah.
And they're talking about tearing down black progress from the Civil Rights era. And we have constant attacks against the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, constant attacks against the 14th and 13th Amendment. constant attack just against black folks in general. So it's interesting to hear this perspective, and it seems like nothing has exactly changed about racism. And that kind of reminds me, me and the district broke, Chris Carty was having a conversation after election night. We were talking about some of the downvoting and how Angela also Brooke is one of the new black senators. And for the first time, we have 2 black women senators in the Senate House at the same time. We have a black governor of Maryland. We have a black mayor of Baltimore. We have a lot of black elected officials in the mid-eastern Atlantic area. So from about North Carolina to about Pennsylvania, there's a lot of black leadership. There's a lot of black thought. The black political progression has actually taken effect there. But as we saw at the end of Reconstruction, when we had the most black senators and we had the most elected black politicians, what was the response to that? The response would be the right proletariat to create laws to diminish the power of these democratically elected officials who happen to be black. And it just so happened that yesterday, North Carolina, in a lame duck legislation session, did exactly that. With their new black governor, with their new Democratic governor, they have, excuse me, I don't think they're black. With their new Democratic governor, they have limited the power of the governor through the legislation in a lame duck session because they are afraid that the progressive regime might somehow shake up the things that they call comfortable, the things they call safe, but the things that actually been marginalized for their favor. That's what it is, right? Yeah. And so we're reading about the new racism in 1991. The shit is still the same. That's crazy.
Right.
Only thing that's different is Nat King Cole is dead and his daughter old.
Right.
Wow. Thank you for that, sweetheart. And I think that's going to blend in well with today's conversation, especially about tearing down black progress. Yeah. We're going to get to that in a second, but I kind of want to get to what I think the people are here for.
What's up?
Do the people want to hear about my night with the white man? Do the people want to know? Do you want to know?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So, for the benefit of this white man and for the people who were there, Natalie Cole is deceased. Damn.
Oh, really? Damn.
For the benefit of the white man and the people at this party, I'm not going to say anybody's real name, which means if a real name do slip out, don't give it away, sweetheart.
You can call him Steve.
Steve, okay. Scuba Steve. All right. So as we talked about on Tuesday, this is how the story starts. There is a particular white gentleman who does a particular type of jeweling that I appreciate, and I wanted to patron him to get a ring for the lady of the house, do what we need to do. So I hit him up in the DMs, and since then we have been going back and forth on Instagram about very progressive ideas until we get to the new season of Wake Up Baker BMO, and now he's even more engaged. So last week he invited me to a boys' night, which is where I left y'all on Tuesday. Tuesday was the boys' night. The lady was black and suspicious till we found out he was the Army, and then, so I went to the house. The thing started at 7. I showed up at 7:19 because I wanted to be on code. You know what I mean? I wanted to be appropriately late. At the house so far was his across the street neighbor who is a black gentleman who was also on the cover of the New Nair magazine for the makings of Chocolate City. Mm-hmm. Also, there is a pretty prominent drug dealer that I've known for the last 18 years. He's probably one of the most heavyweight moving non-legal marijuana pushers in the city.
Okay.
And then there's me, and then there's a white gentleman, older, who's a defense contractor, short, and then of course there's Scuba Steve, whose house we at.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I shouldn't have said he was a jeweler. So we at Scuba Steve's house. I get there at 7:19. Turns out that the short white man that's not Scuba Steve was the latest and also the first to leave. So I just want to give you some bullet points on what I think. I'll give you 2 bullet points. I don't want to put my man business out there. So I'll give you 2 bullet points on what happened the night that I met possibly a white friend. Maybe I'll tell you the story of the last time I had a white friend. I'll tell you his real name and everything.
And everything.
You know what? I will. So I used to go to Myrtle Beach for the summers. And every summer I worked at the same place for like, I think 4 or 5 years. And it was called NASCAR Speed Park. It's a go-kart place. Me and the lady at the house, we went, we rolled the rights, we yelled and screamed out loud. This white girl spun out on the track, and this shit was crazy. It was a beautiful time, a wonderful time. I had a friend there because Myrtle Beach is a majority white city, but it does have a very significant black population. So I had a white friend there. His name was Don Cope III. Donald Cope III. And when me and Don Cope are friends, this is when I'm like 19. So I'm just starting to drink after getting out of college. So after, college break or whatever. So what I would do is I would go to the liquor store after work. We go get us a case of beers, and then we would play Guitar Hero. Mm-hmm. And that would be like, we do that for hours. Now, mind you, if you know me, I'm a lightweight. I can only drink about 3 beers before I'm like drunk. Yeah. Don crushing the other 15. So we got an 18 case. So I'm saying that to say that I learned rock and the history of rock music from Don Cope III. The reason why I know that Metallica song, Masters of Puppets, is because it's from Guitar Hero. Mm-hmm. And then Don Cope gives me a history of Metallica and hard rock and all of these situations. And now I have a perspective from this white man. How me and Don Cope stopped being friends. One day, we're playing football with my man Charlie, and Charlie is whipping our ass. Like, Charlie is like a real football player. Like, he look like Michael Vick, and we look like the Little Giants in the elementary school game, right? He whipping our ass. We get in a truck to drive back to Don's house, and Don looks at me with like this curious look. He's like, "Can I say it?" And I think he's about to like critique the game. I'm like, "Yeah, well, say what you got to say." And he said, "That nigga Charlie sure is fast." Oh, and I looked at Don and I said, "Why would you? Why did you say that?"
Right.
He said, "You said it was cool." I said, "That's not what I thought you was finna say." Right. Don, we can't be friends no more. Why? Because this whole time you've been casually holding this in your head. You want to just say the N-word. You want proximity to blackness. You know I'm just coming from Howard. You know this is my second semester out of Howard. Yeah. I'm black as hell right now. Don, I can't be your friend no more. Ain't talked to Don Cope III since.
Since that day?
Since that day.
Wow.
When we released the rock version of Mahjong, I'm going to write him a letter. Because it's really, he's my inspiration. So I'm going to write him a letter. But I was very disrespected. So this is the last time I had a white friend. So now I'm at this white man's house, possibly looking for a white friend. Knowing all of this, this is my apprehension. So there are two conversations that happen in the home that I think you should know. The first conversation is around hip-hop. The son of Steve has produced some records for the new hip-hop class. Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's a pretty prominent new producer. Not gonna say his name. Mm-hmm. So we start talking about hip hop, and Steve says my son's music is trash. I just don't get it. And we start talking about the skill of hip hop. And the other white dude, let's call him Stevie. Stevie says, yeah, because they don't make skilled rappers like they used to. Then he goes on to start talking about the punching method. Now, you and I have had this conversation where we have noticed that rappers have stopped actually writing their raps and are actually just punching in line by line, and in some cases, phrase by phrase, which is why you get some rap songs that sound like they have no rhythm in their flow and they have incoherent lyrics. Mm-hmm. And so we are ascribing that to a lack of skill happening in hip hop. But then Lil Stevie says, yeah, they don't make them skilled anymore like the Beastie Boys. To which I look at Stevie and I say something that my man Steve said to me in DMs. I said, if I squint hard enough, I can see your point. So let's just travel down that road. You think the Beastie Boys are of the most skilled rap groups in the history of hip hop? And he said, yes. To which I responded, so what do you think about the Migos? Mm-hmm. Oh, mumble rap? Huh. I then go into my passionate diatribe of how I think Takeoff is actually one of the most skilled rappers in the history of hip hop, but because someone labeled them as mumble rap because they rap in triplets, there's been a connotation that they don't make no sense, they don't have no skill, that these just like some pop rap dudes that just doing something out of Atlanta with fur coats on.
But you can low-key understand every word Takeoff says.
Every word enunciated so clearly. So we had that conversation. So as we're having that conversation, I'm telling him about Takeoff, and he's like, oh, I haven't really, when he died, I didn't really know who the fuck he was, et cetera, et cetera. And then he felt the need to tell me about his vintage shoe collection. Because you got to get right back. You got to get right back on the right side of blackness, right? Yeah. Starts telling me about his Tom and Jerry's, his Ben and Jerry's, his 85s that he got signed by Jordan. He's talking about his Zeros. He's talking about his Air Zooms. He's talking about some grails that he got. That's definitely a result of his access to money. But I'm like, okay, these dudes are some 80s cats. Okay, everybody here is some 80s cats. They're at the beginning of hip hop. They have a perspective. Lil Stevie has the perspective where the Beastie Boys are the most prominent rapper. I forgot to tell y'all that Steve and the other black man that was there, they saw the Nefertiti on my necklace, and they instantly started rapping this Rakim song, like in unison with each other. And I was like, what the fuck is this? So I guess, there's some real fandom happening here. Yeah. So I wanted to tell you that story. To set you up for the second story. So as we exit the conversation about hip hop, Lil Stevie starts to talk about Bitcoin. And I think there is a Beastie Boy Bitcoin pipeline, right?
That's funny.
All the white boys who love the Beastie Boys are now into Bitcoin. My man Stevie starts to go into about a 30-minute explanation of what Bitcoin is, how it's grown to the actual value it is, the different technological and jargon words and different perspectives of currency, et cetera, et cetera. And then we get to the point of the conversation. So I'm listening. I'm engaged. I'm listening to them. I'm like, this is interesting. This is an interesting form of currency. That's what I felt about Bitcoin ever since the beginning. It's an interesting form of currency. And then we get to the part of the conversation. Now, mind you, Lil Stevie is a white man. White man with a coif. A defense contractor. Favorite hip-hop group is the Beastie Boys. Thinks the Migos is mumble rap. Thinks his sneaker collection gives him some type of proximity to black culture. So Lil Stevie says, with Bitcoin could be the solution to the black community. The real problem in these communities is not racism, it's not classism, it's not sexism or misogyny, it's bad money. It's bad economics. The US dollar is based on a centralized bullshit versus Bitcoin, which is based on decentralized energy. Black folks should be interacting with each other via Bitcoin, and that'll be a bigger solution to racism, classism, sexism, et cetera, et cetera. And he says this in a way, and he's looking at, the rest of the black guys in the room. I could tell he's trying to test this theory out, but he says this in a way, and he's put out so much technological jargon, and he's talked the language, and he's got the diction, and he's got the terminology. He said this in a way where it's like, oh, this should be an easy conversation. To which I look at him and I say, you have solutions? You realize, Lil Stevie, that regardless if your solution works or not, we still have not addressed the fracturing problem. Right. We have not fixed the fracture. So before you start proselytizing solutions in Bitcoin based on bad money, we still need to address the incursion point. We need to address what the actual fracture of the problem is. And this is when artist from the New Nair magazine, he jumps in, he starts talking about education, he starts talking about self-care practices and meditation and eating better and diet. And to which I stop the brother and I say, respectfully, my man, I hear you, but everything you're talking about puts agency back in our own hands. And I look back at Lil Stevie and I say, in order for this to be a solution, the fracturing problem must address the fracture. Right. Lil Stevie says, well, what's the fracture? Then we start talking about slavery. And what does Lil Stevie do? What does Lil Stevie do? As soon as we start talking about slavery, we start talking about the actual fracture point. Oh, yo, I gotta go.
Of course.
I gotta still put 2 more hours in the office. I gotta go. It's not because of the comment. Yeah, I just gotta go at the moment. I gotta run. All right, Stevie, you can roll. But we got another white man we can still deal with. We got Steve here. Yeah. So Steve begins asking questions. He's asking questions about what exactly is this infliction point? What is this incursion point? And we're talking about slavery, and we're talking about how do we fix this actual thing, and to which I finally say, you know what, we're beating around the bush. What we actually talking about here is reparations.
Right. If
you're going to come to me with an economic solution of Bitcoin, it better be in the form of reparations. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, we can, and I want to have the conversations with people if we should actually be doing financial reparations, but we never get to that point. By the time we get to the point of there should be reparations, oh, I got to go. I got more time to do at the office. I don't really got time for this. I can't fix the incursion point, but here, take the solution and go.
You just reminded me, didn't Jay-Z do something with Bitcoin and like...
I was on that project.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was on that project. So if we're not talking about Bitcoin being an economic reparation to the incursion, to the problem, what are we talking about?
Right.
Because if this white man is also telling me they're going to stop making and mining Bitcoin in 2040, that it's going to be based on a decentralized value. But if you're also saying that it's going to work exactly how currency works, which means there will be people on top who siphon resources from the people on the bottom to make sure that the people on top can have an unlimited access to what capitalism is, so they can participate in this unlimited free market. Mm-hmm. If you're telling me that is your solution, is to create a system like that, you ain't doing nothing but changing the faces off the dollar.
Right.
Instead of George Washington, now it's 100 niggas in the blockchain on the face of a dollar. And I'm still at the bottom of this resourceless siphon. Mm-hmm. Your economic solution cannot, in fact, be a solution if it does not resolve what the problem is. Don't give me another face to economics in which I'm still the poor class.
Right.
So instead of supporting the U.S. government, I'm supposed to support you, Lil Stevie? I'm supposed to support the other tech bros out here who have the capital, who have the resources to mine Bitcoin unlimitedly? I know niggas smarter than you, Lil Stevie. Yet you are in a position to make this conversation. You are in a position to have this thought. Those are my 2 takeaways from meeting with the white man. We had another conversation. We'll actually see if we become friends. We talk back and forth. He's a pretty interesting dude. We're both the same kind of weird. So it works. What are your thoughts, sweetheart? Did I handle myself well with the white man?
I think so. I would say so.
I wasn't in there kowtowing. I wasn't in there stepping the fetch. I didn't dance.
It seems like you kind of put Big Steve, just Steve, on game. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Steve taking notes in his head.
Yeah.
And then he like texted me the next day some things he took notes on. And I was like, okay, good.
Okay.
Good. But also, so while this is happening, and Lil Stevie is giving this, me and Lil Stevie are having this conversation, I'm looking at Steve and I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing here.
Right.
I know what you're doing here. As long as it's transactional, I'm good with it.
Also, you're saying that Lil Steve was, trying to come up with a solution for
black problems.
Yeah, but I'm thinking a solution for who? Because it's not a solution for us.
No, it's a solution for him.
Right.
It's a solution it's a solution that would be like, oh, we gave you Bitcoin, like we gave you the access to the thing, don't?
Right.
Or
why
as they say, like,
it out? Why you still, right.
As I'm hearing the right wing people say, there's like, oh, there should be equity in opportunity, not equity in outcomes. It's like, oh, as long as you have the chance to get in Bitcoin, there's equity there, right? No, wow. Bitch, that's not how it works.
No, that's crazy.
You got any comments? How long we been on?
About 30 minutes.
Okay.
Shamiko says bad money.
Bad money.
Drew says he's right. The economy is a big issue, but crypto is too volatile and unreliable.
Like, I'm supposed to spend my whole one chance on crypto because you said so.
Right. And then Maurice said, I heard that same Bitcoin bullshit from a friend, SMH.
Bro, it's still currency. Unless we're going to do something radical like wealth reallocation through Bitcoin, it's still currency.
Right.
It's still the open market. It's still the free market of currency. You just want to decentralize America. Why? What about the American dollar is losing value? Is it because black folks are closing the wealth gap or attempting to close the wealth gap? We have to reinforce another wealth gap system, start over fresh? Is that what it is? Because I'd be very curious to see what the wealth gap is in Bitcoin.
Right.
How many black folks have Bitcoin versus how many white folks have Bitcoin? What is the value of that Bitcoin in that community versus the value of Bitcoin in the black community? I'd be very curious to see that. Because if the wage gap is still there, solution where, Lil Steve? Solution where, Lil Steve? We got other comments?
No, that's it.
Okay. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. Let's talk. Let's roll with my man, Sir EU. We're going to listen to ha 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 ha. Definitely go check that out. My man Geronimo said it's based on another song called Cocaine. But definitely go check out my man, Sir EU, Sir, the letter E, the letter U, ha ha, off of his latest project. Definitely go check that out. We'll be right back with more. Who wake it bake will it be? Now, y'all stay tuned. Because we're going to tackle this bitch ass nigga here in a minute.
Oh, Lord.
We're going to tackle this bitch nigga here in a minute. Remember, we're talking about open markets. Remember, the lady of the house is talking about new racism is the eradication of civil rights movement and acts towards the benefit of white folks. Remember that. Mo, yeah. I must devour, I must devour, I must devour, I must devour, I must devour.
Friends that motivate people, vilify the villains who I know that hate people. How the devil, how he cultivate evil. Focus how he beats you to the bunch of them feed you. Explain this to the people, they will need you. If you damn body it, they gon' eat you. If you not a heavy eight, they gon' beat you. I believe in God, I don't need you. Mommy made me promise to be godly in the people. Starting with stuff and the karma got be lethal. I was all alone with the slowness for EU. Real power trio, I consider them equal. I just want to deliver what was given. Time was steering through a whole I'm forgiven. If I wasn't in it for the win, I would've been in the morticians, living grinning, looking down on all the living. Shitting on the witnesses is what the kid was given. Forfeiting, I'm finishing the fucking vision. Since I wasn't infinite, my mission was a killing to fulfill it. Was an energetic prison that I'm still in. Will it kill him? You already know what we be on. I keep straight be on. I be he we are destroy and I watch this evolve. Evolved into a devolve. And I earn stripes for the trees talk. And I earn stripes like a G-dog. This is how you get friends and motivate people. Vilify the villains who I know that hate people. Focus on the devil, how he cultivate evil. Notice how he beats you to the punch and then feed you. Explain this to the people and I promise they will need you. If you damn body it, I promise they will eat you. If you not a heavyweight, I promise they gon' beat you. I believe in God, bitch, I don't fucking believe you. Mommy made me promise to be God again the people. Started with Stephanie, the karma got me lethal. I was all alone with the slowness or ego. Real power trio, I consider them equal. I just want to deliver what was given. I was there and through it to the top. I'm forgiven. If I wasn't in it for the win, I would've been in. No more distance, London grinning, looking down on all the living. Shitting on the witnesses of what the kid was given. Forfeiting, not finishing the fucking vision. This vision since I was a fucking
We'll keep talking about it. We talked about that man's entire his whole business. Boy, I'm glad we muted, man. We just talked about one of y'all bad. The lady want me to stop. That's all right. We're gonna stop. Welcome back, y'all, to Wake and Bake with B Mo. Yeah, I don't do this often, but this jersey that I have on today, the Cheney State jersey, is actually from the first NCAA Women's Championship team, which was at Cheney. If you didn't know, the first 2 years that the NCAA had a women's basketball tournament, Cheney won it back-to-back.
That's crazy.
With this young lady. She ain't dunking nobody, but she was scooping and she was layupping. Let me tell you something. Get out the way. I got this joint after seeing Coach Dawn Staley had it on during a basketball game. And so I saw the picture. I hunted down the manufacturer, which is these people called, I think, First and Foremost. They stopped making the jersey a year earlier. But because I had the Google money, I was like, hey, man, how much can I pay for you just make me one? Yeah. And they was like, all right, man, we'll send you the link. They sent me the link. They was like, well, actually, what's going to happen is we can't make one. So we're going to have to, make a few. Can you, buy, 3 or 4? We'll give it back to you if they sell. And I was like, yeah, sure. That's what we did.
So they sold?
They sold, yeah.
Oh,
they
nice.
opened up a second line. I paid, I want to say, close to, $200 for just this one. Yeah. But then they gave me a store credit and a rebate if I want to buy something else, just based on the support and the idea and whatnot. So shout out to First and, I think it was it First and Foremost who did that? They might have been a representing party, and then the manufacturer actually followed up with that actual deal. I can't remember what it is. But if you want something, y'all, just go ask. Shit, little black businesses, they get it done for you.
That's real.
They get it done for you.
Close
I can see the little black woman on the other side. She's like, that ain't no problem. That ain't no problem, brother. What's that saying?
I said closed mouths don't get fed.
Well, they don't. They sure don't. About speaking of closed mouths, it's about time for blunt manifestations. I know what I'm manifesting.
What?
I'm manifesting all these bitch niggas get the fuck up out of here.
Oh.
That's what I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting a lack of peace to people who choose neutrality.
Okay.
We're at war. We're at war. And if you choosing to stay home, if you dodging the draft, I hope you don't have peace. I hope the war come knocking on your door and forces you into a choice. Yeah. And when it knocks on your door, I hope that you try to choose neutrality and get punched in the goddamn mouth. What you manifesting?
That the truth will come to light. All will be revealed.
All will be revealed. I hope little Stevie understands. I hope little Stevie's at the house right now like, damn, I can't give a solution without fixing the problem. No, little Steve.
No.
No, you can't. You can't do that. We got any blunt manifestations from the people? Y'all keep flowing in your blunt manifestations. We already running long on the show. We're gonna keep moving because there's something I need to get off of my heart. There's something I need to get out of my heart. Funny enough, actually, this starts with the Nat Ministry. Y'all have heard, the Wake and Bake people nights, y'all are pretty consistent. Y'all have heard the conversation we had about should black women be resting in a moment like this. In a moment we're at war, in a moment where the country is at stake, in a moment where blackness is at the most at risk, should black women be resting right now? And I was actually preparing for a fight with the Nat Ministry because they have commercialized radical black rest. So you go to the Nat Ministry's Instagram or you go to their website, everything is about rest. There is no conversation about action. And so when I was preparing for a fight with them, I got a DM.
Okay.
I got a DM from an associate, maybe a friend, an associate though for sure. We did the All Things Black Market together. Trio of women, excuse me. One of them is a young lady named Ramona Jones. Mm-hmm. Everybody know Ramona Jones? Anybody know Ramona Jones? You know Ramona Jones? Ramona Jones sends me a clip of this young man named Chad O. Bitch Nigga. And I see him, I'm listening to him, and I'm like, oh, the Nat Ministry is not my enemy. I might want to pick a fight for them with, just for ideological sake. But like, I actually agree with that ministry. Niggas do need to rest. I get it. But do we need to rest to the point where like that's just like the commercial product of your situation? And that's the conversation I want to have. But then I listen to this individual, I see this guy Chad, and I'm like, oh, ugh. My enemy is not the tools of blackness and how we are trying to recover from whiteness and how we are trying to seek liberation. My fight is still with the individuals who implement the tools of whiteness. That's who I should be picking fights with.
Yeah.
Now, because I live in my very black ass bubble, when I clicked on this man's Instagram, there's only one person I knew who was following him, and it was said Ramona Jones. And the conversation I'm having with Ramona Jones, it kind of makes me think I think Ramona might be part of the 8%.
Oh.
In the conversations that I'm having, I think she might be part of the 8%. A rarity, if you will. And in this conversation, this DM conversation, she says to me, shouldn't we be able to disagree and be in community? Shouldn't y'all be able to have a conversation and find middle ground? Shouldn't y'all be able to talk and exchange ideas? And I want to leave that up to, I want to ask that question to you, lady of the house, to the Wake and Bake with B1 Nights. I'm going to play a couple of videos. I'm going to try as much as possible to submit them without comment. And then after we play these 2 videos, I want you to answer the question, sweetheart. Should I be in conversation with him? Should we try to find the middle ground? Do we have to agree with this young man, or do we have to be in disagreement and community with this young man?
Disagreement and in community?
Yes. Because
okay.
I disagree with the Nat ministry, but we could be in community.
Yeah.
Like, there is a conversation about activism that I could have with the Nat ministry that would find a middle ground that would still call black folks human. I'm not sure if when I play these videos and we talking about having a common ground, I'm not sure the common ground is black humanity. Go ahead and play the first video. So yeah, she was turning up the light. Huh?
Where can niggas be?
No.
Was it? Oh, My New Enemy?
Yes.
Okay.
But at Cover Luther King, rarely do we ask the question, why is he so lionized? What did he actually do? Especially if you understand the backdrop of the way Black culture was trending prior to his popularization, along with other so-called minority groups in this country. That is to say, it was on an upward trajectory. So what is it that he brought to the table? Well, what he brought to the table was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was an unconstitutional piece of legislation, specifically Titles 2 and 7, which expanded the federal government's role in small businesses. Now, this is tried and true Marxist ideology, because what the Marxists believe is that the government should own the means of production. So why would you want to give the federal government that much of a fixture into your company? I should have the right to decide who I want to fire, who I want to hire, and who I want to serve. If I choose to be discriminative in those decisions, then it's up to the marketplace to either patronize my business or not patronize my business. We have to be adults about it.
So your conclusion about Title VII was there shouldn't be a federal law that prohibits race discrimination in hiring.
That's correct. There should not be. The fact is, when it comes to the marketplace, you vote every day with your dollars. You have a choice to patronize a business that is owned by a business owner whose values you share and those who you don't share. That's your decision. But to go and tattle on a company, to the government, I don't think is the constitutional way.
Okay, this is so interesting. Didn't know we were going to go here today, but in my other life, before I became politically active and did this talk show, I was a labor lawyer, and I defended businesses in disputes in federal court in Title VII, state court in California for discrimination laws. I had never really, I'm embarrassed to say, never thought, well, that was really a constitutional use of the federal power. And I'm, a strong advocate of limiting the federal government, confining it to exactly what the Constitution allows them to do and nothing more. But you do recognize what that was doing to businesses, what it was doing to the whole relationship between employees and their employer. Mm-hmm. It was creating tension and fear and a sense of victimhood when really nothing had gone wrong, and a sense of just frustration by others who felt like they were being falsely accused. I'm not saying discrimination doesn't happen ever, but disputes that would have worked themselves out in some other way ended up in federal court, in state court, and just entrenched division and resentment in the entire workforce.
I just want to recap. I don't want to give any comments yet. Just want to say that the video started off with him trivializing Martin Luther King, asked what he really did. Then in the answer to the question of what he really did, he said that Martin Luther King created legislation that was unconstitutional and Marxist. And then he convinced this white woman who used to defend companies in discrimination lawsuits that the diversity in the workforce actually creates tension amongst the workforce. Just want to give that recap. Play the second video, so yeah. Remember, the question is, should we be in conversation? Should we try to find a middle ground? Is there a way that me and this individual can be in community? This next one gonna get y'all. This next one gonna piss you off. Hopefully, maybe. Maybe I should have said that shit. This next one gonna get you.
And as I was thinking about these two artists, I began to think about what is the purpose of art? And of course, I'm not the first person to ask this question. This is a question that's been around for a very long time. It's something that the ancient artists thought about. It's something that the Enlightenment thinkers thought about. And it's a question that's ongoing to this very day. The ancients would say, well, art is supposed to imitate nature. Art is supposed to imitate that which is objectively good, that which is objectively true, that which is objectively beautiful. Jean-Jacques Rousseau would come along during the Age of Enlightenment and say, well, no, art is supposed to imitate feeling. And the postmodern artists would take that and run with it. W.E.B. Du Bois, who was a Marxist philosopher, would come along in 1926 and say before a room full of Negro thinkers and activists that all art is propaganda. And the Negro artist must use his artistic expression to push for political policy. Now that may sound good on its face until you realize that Du Bois was part of that same eugenicist ilk, along with John Dewey and Margaret Sanger, who significantly wrecked American institutions for the worse. For well over a century, social engineers and eugenicists have delved into the cognitive sciences and into the soft sciences to understand human behavior and to use that information to drive society in the way they wish it to go. They've made significant investments into the arts and the entertainment industry, using these as mechanisms to shape public opinion and to prime mankind, especially electorally, to be accepting of politicians and policies which go to achieve the aims of the social engineer. Although the agenda of the social engineer, if achieved, is actually detrimental to the whole of mankind, the mechanisms they use to achieve their goals seem on its face to be very harmless. It appeals to our emotions, our lusts, our passions, our desires, particularly the desire that life should be easier. This is why leftism is hostile to a more meritocratic, conservative way of looking at the world, which says that if I want something, I have to work hard for it and have integrity along the way. Unfortunately, in this postmodern age in which we find ourselves, in order for an artist to gain relative commercial success, many of them feel that they have to acquiesce and promote a leftist way of thinking.
All right, Wake Up Baby, let's start with the lady of the house. Lady of the house, I would like you to answer the questions before we even get to the commentary. They could be simple before we get there. Should I be in conversation with this individual?
I mean, my first mind says yes, because it could be a moment to teach and educate him on a perspective that he doesn't currently have. But
okay. Second question, would it be worth is there a middle ground between this individual and myself?
I think there is.
Is that middle ground a negotiation of Black humanity?
Negotiation? I don't think you can negotiate, or you should negotiate Black
I'm
humanity.
saying when I have this conversation with him, would the thing that moves between us be the humanity of Blackness?
Maybe on your end, but not his.
Then last question, what's the middle ground, and can he be in disagreement with these opinions and still be in community with us?
I guess, yeah. I suppose.
I'd like to address his points.
Okay.
First off, I'd like to say there is a big problem here. And to me, the biggest problem here that I've seen in these two videos, and I'm going to address 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points that he made. I'm going to address 9 points that he's made. But there's actually one big thing here that pisses me off the most. Okay. And it's a white tool. Under the tool of civility. Yeah. It's called stoicism, non-emotional, controlled response, logical thinking. When Ramona Jones sent me this video and asked if I could be in conversation with him, I thought about it for a second and I said, I don't think so. Mostly because if you trivialize my heroes directly in front of my face, I actually might hit you. Like you might actually get popped. And I don't even know if I'd be able to control it. And that to me is the opposite or the intended goal of what whiteness wants. They want you to have an emotional response because then it seems like you're more controlled. It seems like you're more radical. In actuality, your humanity is being stricken from you right in front of your face. But then they'll act like, oh, what's wrong?
Yeah.
Why are you so angry? Why are they so emotional? Try to minimize you with your own humanity. To be emotional is to be human. To judge me on my emotions or my emotional response after something terrible has happened is to judge me on my humanity. Reduce your humanness so you can interact with me, nigger. That's what that is. So this calm, stoic, I'm going to talk peacefully in one tone. I'm going to set up next to the fire and have it crackling next to me. Bullshit. That's the whitest thing of these videos. How could you talk about the qualms, the problems happening to blackness without getting upset?
Right.
How can you just flippantly discuss Martin Luther King, W.E. Du Bois, the tensions in the workplace, constitutional inequities, the purpose of art, eugenics, things that are detrimental to the black community and not have an attitude? That's my biggest qualm with the thing. But I'm going to take umbrage with a few points. My man minimalized Martin Luther King. He said, what did Martin Luther King actually do? And then he goes on to say, oh, he actually lobbied for legislation that is unconstitutional. Why is that not a good thing? Why is it when this bitch nigga explains how the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act were unconstitutional and Marxist legislation, why is he advocating for random white men in 1776 who created a constitution that labeled him 3/5 of a person?
Exactly.
Why is the criticism on Marxism, why is the Constitution, why are those the bearer of equity? Who said that that was the Bible of how people should be treated? And to go back to what you said in the article earlier, my man said with a straight face that the Civil Rights Act is black folks tattling to the federal government because of discrimination. Right. He believes that the marketplace, the free market, is where equitable action happens, where you actually have a fair chance to do business. To which I say to him, has he seen the wealth gap? Do you not know, as you're talking about and picking at them and minimizing what Jim Crow is, as you're talking about what Jim Crow is, it's a cute name for economic apartheid.
Right.
It is a way to create a lower impoverished class. And then you are also saying in the same mouth that the person who lobbied, created, and gave his life to create this legislation did nothing because that act was unconstitutional. This man is dangerous. And then says it with a calm demeanor, as if it should be believed, as it should be taken seriously, as if it is not some type of bullshit. Mm-hmm. I don't wish death on many people. This young man is getting close. I wish death on Kevin Samuels. I'm not one of you religious godly niggas who got a problem with wishing death on niggas. I don't got a problem. Kevin Samuels should have died. This nigga is getting close. I want to address the second one. What's the purpose of art? And I feel like this is why Ramona Jones actually sent me this young man. Isn't it crazy he used every source that I use? We got to the same point of W.E.B. Du Bois, but instead of keeping straight, this nigga turned around?
Right.
He diminished the creator of sociology, not black sociology, the entire field of sociology, the entire field of data visualization, an Afrofuturist in the first kind. He minimalized, this is not even going to his black accomplishments, but he minimalized W.E.B. Du Bois, the founder of the NAACP, the founder of the Niagara movement, the founder of anti-lynching legislation in the late 1800s. We just went off live on Instagram, yeah.
What's going on? It still says this. What should I do?
I'm not moving though.
Yeah, I know.
That's interesting.
It says sending data only on Instagram, but the other two say streaming.
Can the people still see me? We still on Instagram. We still on YouTube. That's YouTube, right? All right.
Yeah.
He minimalized one of the greatest black people to ever have graced the planet to a eugenicist.
Right.
To something that's harmful towards black people. And the eugenicist statement that he is claiming that W.E.B. Du Bois would make is the talented 10th. But he literally went against that before he died and said it was a bad idea. Cherry picking arguments to minimize our black heroes so that you can make white points? So that you could convince a white woman that she should have been more discriminative while protecting businesses during discrimination cases? And then lastly, I'll say, the argument that he presents in the second video that we watched, where he says that W.E.B. Du Bois was trying to engineer a society in which it legislated or created soft sciences around the difficulty of life. This same man who believes in the open market, in the free market, that you should be able to participate freely, also has the opinion, this man who participates in the free market and believes in open participation within that capitalistic structure also believes that, oh shit, I forgot my point. What was I just talking about? We're talking about W.E.B. Du Bois. Oh, life should be easy. This man who believes in the free market and the open system that is capitalism, that you should be able to participate and the market figure it out, also believes that life should be hard. Also believes that like discrimination should happen. It should be naturally legislated out through a system of commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, because of his use of white civility, because of his alignment with whiteness, because of his refusal to see the black perspective and cherry pick the portions of blackness that only support his argument, because he does this with a blank face, because he does this with a whack ass, soft ass voice, I'd like to nominate, I don't even want to tell you his name. I'm not. I'm nominating that nigga for the blue-faced bitch nigga of the moment. And do I accept him to blackness? Sure, he's black. He's on the same spectrum, in the same spectrum aside as Clarence Thomas. If you find yourself in that black neighborhood, it ain't, yeah, you took a wrong turn somewhere. It ain't that be my wishing death on you, but you might be. Because this is ridiculous. This is some, when I think about counter propaganda, we are the opposite of this nigga.
Yeah.
And I made sure I lined up his video directly outside of Maurice's propaganda. We got any comments? Or what are your thoughts? Now that I've explained this, should I be in conversation with this fella? Is there a middle ground? And can we disagree and still be a community with these type of ideologies?
What was the first question?
Should I be in conversation with this fella?
The only reason I said that originally is because you do, cite the same sources. But I don't know if he'd be able to. I don't know.
Here's how I hit him. Right? He comes in, he says, oh, Martin Luther King was just a womanizing preacher with a loud mouth. Mm-hmm. And I start yelling at him. And then he says, why are you so angry? That's when I hit him.
Okay.
That's how it happens. And if that's the case, I really don't know if we could actually be in conversation. Yeah. I think an actual fight would break out.
Okay, that's fair.
And I also don't think, like, in conversation, there's a middle ground between the two of us. The way he speaks about blackness, the way he feels like discrimination should be allowed in the marketplace and then be marketed out by the same people who just voted Trump back into office. It's like you want the eradication of black bodies. You want the eradication of the black thought and the black perspective. Right. You don't want niggas to be around. You don't want niggas.
Exactly.
Which ironically leads me, we just had the bitch nigga of the moment. It leads me to our Paul Robeson Negro of the week. Cause where are niggas supposed to go? Show me this. Let's do this, sweetheart. Let's start with the redlining. Oh no! Matter of fact, let's start with the Tyler the Creator point. It's at the top.
You remember what it's called? Was it Working Niggas Be?
Yeah, Working Niggas Be. I think the first one is Tyler the Creator. I think. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was having a conversation right before the show started, and in thinking about the things we got coming up, we're gonna have a conversation about commercial redlining. We're gonna have a conversation about intellectual redlining, especially with this gentleman that's freshly on my mind. And we think about Jordan Neely, whose killer was just acquitted for murdering him on the train. If you think about Eric Garner and George Floyd, and oh God. I'm not supposed to be doing trauma on the show, but when you think about all these individuals whose lives have been taken, I think about, well, where are niggas supposed to go? If we get shot in our house while boiling water, if we get shot on the train while having a mental breakdown, if we got shot in the street by just walking home, we get shot in a convenience store, where are niggas supposed to go? So when I see this quote from Tyler, the Creator, he said, if I was president, the first thing I would do is take podcasts away from niggas. It's like, damn, we can't be on podcasts either. Where are niggas supposed to go? And then it gets deeper. I know Tyler the Creator probably just playing, but like the statement still triggers me. Like, take away mics from nigga. We can't even talk. We supposed to die in silence?
Damn.
And word to the conversation we've been having earlier is like, yeah, I know niggas is not the most well-equipped intellectually, but so what? We got a dumbass for president right now, but niggas can't talk to their 40 friends via social media on a podcast mic? Jesus Christ, man. Go ahead to the next one, sweetheart. How can you not be emotional about this? Bitch nigga. All right, now walk us through this next one, sweetheart. What we got?
Okay, so DC has sued Amazon because they are commercial redlining. Basically, people living east of the Anacostia River are not getting their packages either shipped by Amazon or they're just not getting them like in a timely manner. They pay for Prime, but they get it way after the window. And I believe in the article it says that, what is this?
You can interact with it.
Okay.
You gotta click that.
Okay. Yeah, they're shipped either from like third-party sources or they'll get it from USPS, UPS, and yeah.
Is it? Okay, so what the Lady House is also not saying is that, so they did an investigation. They found that some of these delivery delays are like up to like 4 or 5 days. So you could get overnight overnight Prime deliveries in certain zip codes that are in Washington, D.C., but in other zip codes that are east of the river, east of the Anacostia River on the black side of town, it might come 4 or 5 days later. And as she just indicated, it won't come directly from Amazon. It'll come from third-party systems. So the natural inclination, in which I thought, and which I guess other people thought, is like, oh, there must be elevated crime on the black side of town that prevents Amazon from going. But when we dig deeper into it and someone does it in investigation, what they find is that on the white side of towns, there are significantly more crimes, specifically in this type of crimitude, than there are on the black side of town. So what is the true reason for why Amazon is delaying packages on the black side of town. It's not crime. What is it? Is it because they're scared? Why are they scared? Is it because bitch niggas like whatever the fuck his name is convincing white women that discrimination should be led into the marketplace? So would his solution be like, oh, you deserve 4 or 5 day later packages because you live on the black side of town? What does he say about the other lawsuit that's happening to the developers in the city who are controlling rent illegally? So much to the fact that the only affordable places that are not affordable housing are on the black side of town. Should that be allowed in the park marketplace? Oh, bitch ass nigga. I can't stand this nigga. Ugh. He getting close. So, if niggas can't be on podcast mics, if niggas can't be at their homes, if niggas can't be at the grocery store, if niggas can't be on Amazon, where can niggas be?
Damn.
So just as I'm losing hope, sweetheart, just as I'm losing hope on where niggas can be, where niggas are allowed, I'm reminded, fuck what they think. Fuck Amazon. All of these moments of terrorism against black folks, and you let this article go. All of these moments of terrorism against black folks are meant to put us in fear. When they killed Fred Hampton at 21, us to stop organizing. So when I asked the question, are we supposed to put our lives on the line for this? I think about our current Paul Robeson Negro of the Week. This week, I would like to nominate for Paul Robeson Negro of the Year, our Paul Robeson Negro of the Week. I call him Bishop. His name is Trevor. Why? Because he's shown me what niggas can be. And very beautifully, I might add. Go ahead.
Nigga, didn't you almost get eaten by a bear once?
Okay, yes, but that's also kind of an exaggeration.
Yeah, whatever, nigga. What you want trying to go out into the wilderness hiking and all that? That's some white people stuff, bro.
Dog, outside definitely ain't some white people stuff, but I feel you on the national parks. We like 7% of the niggas in them every year.
See, that's what I'm saying, nigga. Why you out here trying to be Crocodile Bumby?
Yo, chill, God. All right, so 1, the visuals are a vibe, and then 2, I guess we gonna call it resistance.
Here this nigga go, resistance. Resisting what, bro? Your life?
This nigga got jokes. Okay, the reason that you think like that, and the reason that we really ain't out here like that, is all by design.
Nigga, what you mean?
You know Jim and Jane Crow hit the national parks too, right?
Elaborate, my nigga.
So boom, we either weren't allowed in a lot of these parks, or we had other ones on some color fountain type energy.
The caucasity to think you can own nature.
Exactly, bruh. And we've been conditioned to think that these parks are some white people shit because white people ain't want to send them.
Nah, that's crazy.
And we ain't even talking about the ones we built yet.
Built? Nigga, what?
So this week's Paul Robeson Negro of the Week, my man Trevor Went. Make sure y'all go check him out on all social media platforms. Trevor Went, T Went. Also here on YouTube, he has just released his new series. It's called Niggas in Nature. It is a beautiful combination of video essay and also captivating images from these spaces in nature to remind you that you have space on the planet. The world is yours. Or as Karen Hunter said one time, y'all bickering about left and right, we created humanity.
Yeah.
Y'all bitching about Democrats and Republicans, we bitching about humanity. We not doing the same thing. Go be in nature. Be a nigga in nature. You still belong. Fuck what this bitch nigga of the week got to say. Fuck this bitch nigga of the moment. What are your thoughts, sweetheart? Worthy of the Paul Robeson Negro of the Week? Loud, dangerous,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, for sure. You got any comments? I think they on Instagram they put me off for wishing death on my mans.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Let's see. Drew says, I manifest.
Ain't nothing but a white tool though. I get it.
Yeah. I manifest that guy get a very rude awakening to his own blackness.
I hope so.
Maurice says, I'm not wasting my time with black, white man. I just say no. Shamiko says, I don't think this man realizes that he's not considered an American in the America he's fighting to defend.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Very true. You sitting here trying to defend the goddamn Constitution. The Constitution?
Right.
The Constitution is where you die?
Come on, man.
As Dr. Carl says, you fighting for this funky ass little settler colony state?
Right.
That's not what your ancestry is. That's not who you are. I get it. All right, sweetheart. It's time for the burning question for the Roach. Burning question for the Roach. Yeah. Today's burning question is brought to us by a girl, Randy B. Truth in Cars by Randy B. It's time to have a conversation. Make sure y'all go to randyb.net to go check these out. randyb.net to go check this out. It's time to have a conversation. Sweetheart, what we got?
What did your parents teach you about white people?
Let's see here. What did my parents teach me about white people? I really don't recall my mother's mother talking about white people often, so I don't know. She lived in a very black and Hispanic life, even to the end of her life. My grandfather tells the story. One of my favorite stories my grandfather tells is the story of he worked at a bank. He used to sweep up at a bank. This is back in like 1940 something when he was like 11, 12 years old. He sweep up and clean the bank, and he said that black folks couldn't be in the bank during business hours. So all the black folks would clean the bank right before the business opened and then after the business closed. But then he said one day he saw, while he was walking by the bank, he saw it was like Nazi prisoners that they were like traversing through the town, and they took them into the front door of the bank.
Yeah.
See here, from my father's father, my grandfather, again, not much about white folks. His mother passed. Okay, so when we get to my direct parents, my father comes from South Carolina. And I've told the story before. South Carolina used to fly the Confederate flag all over the place. And so when I'd asked my father what that meant, even when I knew that was a symbol of the losers of the Civil War, the people who wanted to enslave black folks, even though I knew that was a symbol, my father would say it's their heritage.
That's crazy.
It's their tradition. And from that, I learned like, oh, white people got it. Like we can push, we can pull against, we can create legislation against, but at the end of the day, as my father would say, like these white boys there's a reason why it's a good old white boy club. And he coming from South Carolina. From my mother, and I left her last. What did I learn from my mother about white people? I think, now mind you, I think my grandmother, her mother, lived in a very pretty black experience in Vegas. So they West Coast black folks. Lived in I think a minority majority neighborhood, right? I'm saying that to say my mother went to Spelman. And then after Spelman, she was a writer and then traversed up through the education ladder to become vice president of Wesleyan. So my mother has been growing. I'm saying to say that I think me and my mother learned about white people at the same time. Like how they could truly affect, what type of power they have in actuality. To give my mother credit, she does have 26 years on me, so her experience with white folks is baked into her understanding of that, and thus my understanding of that. But when we moved to Mississippi, after leaving Missouri, where we were tokens, and then going to Mississippi, where we were majority, but we were still somehow tokens, it was a very eye-opening experience for the both of us for how whiteness works. And from that, I would say from my mother, I learned that white people don't just hate you with nigger and crosses. White people hate you with charisma, with smile, with comparison. They'll duplicate what you do and then eradicate it behind your back. That's what I learned. What'd you learn?
I'm not sure if I learned that from my parents, but I did learn that through my experience with white people, because I'd say I've gone to predominantly white schools since maybe kindergarten. But I don't know that my black experience growing up was, I guess, centered around whiteness, because I think about like church and, you know, extracurricular activities, piano, et cetera, it was predominantly or all black a lot of times. So, and then I live in a black neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, now, I guess a lot of white people are moving into the neighborhood. So, like, my mom and grandma told me that there's a lot of like young white families and couples moving in. So that's being gentrified, which is interesting. But yeah, I don't remember them ever sitting me down and having like explicit lessons on whiteness or how to navigate dealing with white people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we got any comments?
Shamiko says, side note, my 4-year-old asked me what's a colony at 6 a.m. and this man defending a document that considers him a fraction of a human. Oh, that was from before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. What a week. All right, y'all. We will see y'all on Tuesday. We want to shout out the Washington Reformer Bridge, WIBridge.dc.com or WIBridge on all social media platforms. Shout out to my people. Shout out to my man, Chiquete. Make sure you go check out 4A Drive, CheaKaity. Chiquete, go check that out. Go check out my man, Sir EU. And definitely go check out our Paul Robeson Negro of the Week. Trevor Went, I call him Bishop, in his new series, Niggas in Nature, just to remind you that you have a place on this planet. And it's beautiful. And you deserve it. Low-key, you kind of built it, cut it out, carved it for yourself, and then it was stolen from you. Happy Thursday. Good morning, y'all.
Hold on tight, let this feeling slip away. Yes, city, yeah, happy feelings. Break a Beverly, your main, don't be amazed. Find yourself, learn your joys and pains. Live your voice and sing. The sounds of your heart, don't you worry about a thing. And don't forget your lyrics. This is a reminder of joy every time you hear it. Just verify this joy. Smile, you get very contagious, won't you share it? Let love loose, don't fear it. Just that black boy joy.
Black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy say it again. One more time, get this black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy say it again. Where I was raised, black boys was being destroyed. I grew up a black boy, they had stole my joy. Nobody put on my neck, so I do it for Floyd. Do it for Tamir Rice and for the underemployed. For the ones that gave back, communicated, deployed. I wanna give you a rope so that you can aboard. I wanna give you a hope so that you can avoid having to be a black man without no black boy joy. So get this black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy say it again. One more time, get this black boy joy up on your brain. Let this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And Black boy joy through all the pain, and black boy joy say it again. For us, it's easier to go to jail than to go to college. Rather us be entertainers than be getting knowledge. They funded our own genocide. The word is power. Killing niggas in every song. I think it's coward. Easier to act tough when you in doubt because the world incriminates us. Cause we in doubt. Are we afraid of our own kind? And it's really wild. I think they got us backwards. But I figured out it's easier to fit in than it is to stand out. So I'm black boy joy when I'm cruising around. And I'm black boy joy fresh hitting the town. And I'm black boy joy dancing cleaning the house. And I'm black boy joy when I go for a hike. Been black boy joy since I was riding a bike. My son black boy joy and that's crazy to me. I was miserable growing up, I really hated it, G. But the world is much bigger than I was able to see. So get this black boy joy up on your brain. With this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy say it again. One more time, get this black boy joy up on your brain. With this black boy joy give you some game. Black boy joy get up again. And black boy joy through all the pain. And black boy joy say it again. Smile.